I don't like to do that because this game, win or lose, we're playing more. That Baylor game is, you win or you go home. So for me, we don't put that type of pressure on our kids right now because there is a next game. Now, is this an important game? It sure is. So, it's going to be a great ball game, a great atmosphere, but it's not the Baylor game.
When you consider the amount of people that are going to be traveling so far to come see you, especially the Native American community, what does that say to you?
Well, I think it says a lot about, what the Schimmels have meant to a lot of people, the amount of pride that they've brought the entire Native American community for what they've been able to do, not just on the basketball court, but in the classroom as well. So, it's our job, and I keep telling our players at every home game, we have to go out and perform. If we want fans to continue to come back, we have to put a good product out there. So our players are aware that, hey, we're having fans come from all over the country. Now we have to do our part.
Had some injury trouble the last time. How different is your team this time than the last time you played them?
Well, you had Bree is back. Bria Smith is back playing, which is a big plus for us. Money, Namika is a question mark, which will hurt us some because her defensive quickness did help us up there. But besides that, everybody's doing well. We're 30 games into the season, so you've got some bumps and bruises, but it's nothing that everybody else doesn't have also.
What type of barrier is Jude and Shoney breaking right now in America?
Well, I think I think it hasn't really hit a lot of people exactly what's going on here. We try to explain to people and get the word out there when we go on road games, the amount of support that they get from the Native American community. And I think this is just going to be the pinnacle of things, to be able to sit there. When it's all over with by Monday, it won't surprise me if we have 41 or 42 states that are represented at this ball game, which besides the Final Four, I'm not sure if that's ever been done for a men's or women's basketball game. So it shows you, what they've been able to do to just get a community together and have someone to look up to.
And also, you got a game tomorrow you don't want to overlook as well.
No, we aren't going to overlook that game for sure. I mean, we're going up to play a very good Cincinnati team that's been playing extremely hard. Had a really impressive win down in Central Florida, and we know it's their senior day as well, and they would like nothing better than to beat us. And that's one thing that I'm proud of our players about. We haven't gone into a game and overlooked anyone, so I would not expect that to start tomorrow.
Could you have imagined Shoney having a kind of impact on the program? I mean, just scoring and otherwise when you first recruited her?
Well, when we recruited her, we knew she had the ability to score. She was very dynamic with the basketball. Could make a lot of plays. So, that's one thing. When we went out and recruited her, I told her, I said, we're not going to try to change the way you play. We're just going to try to teach you more about the game. More so for her, it's just time and score, and that's something that I think she has learned a great deal of. And it's not necessarily what we've taught her; it's she's learned as the game has gone on. And now she knows when the right time to make a behind-the-back pass, off-the-ear pass is, and when to make a simple bounce pass.
Dozens of Native American families are touring the university while they're in town. I mean, they're making a huge impact basketball-wise, but they could have an impact academically on a whole bunch of people.
Well, of course. I mean, that's one thing. I mean, they're showing them that, hey, there's an opportunity out there for you, not only to be a basketball player, but to go out and get your degree. And that's one thing that Shoney and Judah both talked about, the importance of finishing up their academics. And then if they decide to go back home, it's because, hey, I wanted to come back home. I've got my degree, and you can follow in my footsteps.
What's Asia's meant to the program, and she's, she had some ups and downs, and at one point I know everybody thought, okay, is she going to continue to play because of her injuries? No,
she's done a fantastic job. Asia, the way she's playing now is really what I was hoping for her out of high school. But for her, she breaks her ankle in both bones in her leg her senior year. She gets her foot caught underneath a bleacher in a game. And that took about a year and a half for her to even come close to getting back to where she was. And Asia at that point in time was really starting to come into her own. She developed late, and you could see the talent that she had, but she had work to do. Well, then when you have to take a year and a half off, it was a big setback for her. But she's taken advantage of what she's been given, and the year off last year, even though she couldn't play, she was still able to work on her skills, and that's why you see the success that she's having right now.
Back to you.
Tia's, it's year 6 for her. I mean, she's been through it all. There aren't many players that I can come into a season and say, hey, your body, you know it better than I know it. The kid, there's not a day that goes by that she's not playing with something hurt or practicing. And I've told her, you practice when you can practice. You pull yourself out when you need to pull yourself out. And there's not many players as a coach you say that to, that you actually have that confidence that they're just not, hey, I'm tired today, I think I'll sit out. But she is one that I don't worry about. If the kid can play, she'll play. And there's been a lot of times when I've had to tell her to step out, because for her to be able to have made it through this entire season, we've got about 8-10 more games left, I hope. It's been remarkable for her, our medical staff, everyone that's taken care of her, because, the poor kid's she's beat up, but she wanted to have a senior season, and I think she's had a great one for us.
And then Nita.
And Nita, it's great to have her back on the floor. Back in the early December there, we were afraid that was it for her, and not just her basketball career, but how that incident was going to affect her life afterward. So to be able to get the news a month after that she's good to go, she's fine, was just a blessing for all of us. And like she knows, and we talk about it, we're fortunate to work at a place that we do where Tom and our entire academics, athletic, our training staff, we want the best for these kids. So instead of just saying, hey, well, this is what they're saying here in Louisville, we send her up to the Mayo Clinic. And we're going to get the best for her. And then that's where we find out that, the blood clot's gone, her heart's fine. So just to have her back on the court, it's great. And she means a lot to us because of the way she can shoot the basketball. We can't give them, that we can't have breakdowns on defense. They score enough. And when you do have a breakdown, we keep our hands down twice on Stewart, and she hits back-to-back threes. That's the kind of player she is. So mentally, we have to be focused for 40 minutes on defense, or it just puts that much more pressure on you on the offensive end.
Interesting.
Start with the question. Yeah,
interesting
please.
Senior night coming up. On Monday.
It's going to be great. Right now, at last count, we're close to 19,000 sold. It's going to be a great event, and then it's going to be a great ball game. So there's a lot that's going to go before it, during it, and then after with an autograph session that could go for a few hours.
Are you prepared for them to go for a few? Are they?
Yeah,
prepared
no,
to go
we
for-
are. That's one thing we've talked to our players about, and that's one thing that we've held true to. We sign the last game of the year until everyone that wants an autograph is through. Now, it is going to be restricted. It's one autograph per person. So, you can't bring 5-6 things in, because when you've got hopefully 22,000, half might stay to get autographs. So we're going to have to get that rolling through. But, hopefully we're focused on the ball game, which I know our kids will, and it should just be a great atmosphere.
This senior class has meant so much, not just Shoney. I know she gets a lot of the attention, but just talk about the whole class in general.
Well, it's a class that's done a lot for us. You throw Shantae Dyer in that mix too, that has to redshirt, her first year because of a heel injury. But it was an important class for us. Sharon Bales was part of that initial class. So they've done a lot. We had Angel McCautry. We go to the Final Four. We have some injuries that following year. We go 14-18, and everybody was starting to question, okay, well, Angel's gone, Candace is gone. What are they going to be able to do? And I think that this class really showed that, hey, this is going to be a program. And now with what we've been able to do recruiting-wise, it's not just one or two teams that come through here. It's something that's established, and we plan on being the top 5, top 10 for years to come.
What does it mean to the program to be top 5 in attendance?
Well, it's great. For recruiting, first off, when you can sit there and show potential recruits, this is what you get the chance to play in front of every night. It means a lot. And then, our players work as hard as the men's team does. So when you get the opportunity to come out and play a home game in front of, 8 to 10,000 on average, and then on Monday night, 22,000, it makes it all worth it.
Did you have any idea when you signed Shoney the impact it would have on the Native American community?
No, I mean, we knew because of the off the res documentary that was being produced, the significance of it. But I'm not sure anybody realized the impact that it would have, especially after 4 years.
What will it take to beat UConn?
It's going to take us playing as well as we've played all year. We're going to have to make open shots. The one thing when we go back and look at the game film the first time up there, it's a 5-point game with about 4 to go in the first half, and we missed 2 open shots, and they come down and hit back-to-back threes. So what could be a 3 or 4 point game is now an 11-point game. They're talented, and so are we, but we have to make sure that we're ready and our feet are set and taking good shots.
What do you got to play like
I think we have to beat UConn on Monday, and I think a lot has to do with what South Carolina does too. I mean, they're playing extremely well right now. Their resume, when you look at it, they've got more top 25 wins, but at the same time, they've had the opportunity to play more top 25 teams. So there comes a point in time when you play the schedule you have to play, and that's what we're doing right now. If we can get this win on Monday, then I'll throw our name out there and say, hey, yeah, I think we deserve to be a 1 seed.